This is a special presentation from News Channel 9, WSYR Syracuse.
Hi, I'm Tim Fox. You know, when we started this project, the news director gave me just one direction. Tell me something good. Not a bad job. In fact, probably the best job I've ever had, covering all the great stuff happening here in Central New York week after week. Over the next few minutes, we're going to take a look back at a few of the stories from the past 12 months about people that may not make the headlines. They just make my day. Rosie Anthony worked for GE in Liverpool when a coworker pitched an idea.
There you go. Maybe we'd like to, go into a little business. I never dreamed of a saloon. My father'd be so proud of me owning a saloon. I bought my partner out in 1975, and she said I wouldn't last 6 months without her brains. And I'm still here.
She's still here and still working 6 days a week at 99 years of age.
See the gray hairs? I earned every one of them. I plow my own yard, I mow my own lawn, I take care of the horseshoe pits, and I still do all of this.
Since COVID, Rosie's run the place by herself, but at least the commute is short. She lives upstairs.
This was the first shirt I ever printed.
On top of everything else, Rosie served on the town council for years and raised her great niece as her own daughter.
I saw every concert at the Dome with her growing up, her and her friends, and you want to know what kept me going? She kept me going.
Her daughter moved to Florida a couple years ago and wants Rosie to join her there. But for now, Rosie's customers are her family, and behind the bar is the only place she wants to be.
You should see my birthday. I said, no party. Every year, no party. It was packed in here. If I'm still alive at 100, I don't know what the hell they're going to do.
It's going to be fun to find out. Mark your calendar for a great day in Granby come early February. Coming up, we'll tell you how a rock and roll legend found himself in a brand new band. We'll walk through history and show you parts of downtown many of us never notice. And we'll ride along on Honor Flight to help Central New York say thank you for a job well done. That's all coming up as we look back at the year past on Tell Me Something Good. And before we go any further, it's only right to remember the king of feel-good stories here in Central New York, the legendary Mike Price. For 46 years, from the time colorful Channel 9 signed on the air, Mike Price personified all that is good about our town.
A good evening to you.
From Baron Day Moan to the good news each night, Mike loved Central New York, and Central New York loved him right back. He was simply unforgettable. It's always a treat when the teacher moves class outdoors.
So you're on the 300 block of the Montgomery Street. Now, I mentioned the 250th anniversary of the American Revolution.
But the lessons from this class are always on the move. Bob Searing, curator of history at Onondaga Historical Association, uses the city sidewalks as his classroom for walks through history.
There's an incredible amount of history that is not only relevant because of it happens, but because it speaks to what we're dealing with today. So to be able to get out and bring history alive in a way that's just in a dusty old book or one of the columns is really it's invigorating.
Searing holds the walks about every 2 weeks, and there are actually two themes. One is through the heart of Syracuse. The other is footsteps in freedom.
Public meetings there, they have public meetings in the Whiting Opera House.
He caps the tour at 15 people. It's a great fundraiser for the nonprofit museum, and OHA members get a discount.
I don't know how Bob is able to recall so much and share it in such a winsome way while simultaneously walking backwards and leading people across busy streets, but he knows a little bit about everything.
Searing even pulls an occasional string to gain special access, like this sneak peek at renovations in the Landmark Theater. And some of his favorite moments are the ones people least expect.
Having people look at the Onondaga limestone for the first time and telling them, take a look at that. That's a 3 million year old fossil. And without those fossils, that sea that was here, there is no salt. And without the salt, there is no canal. There's none of it. And they're just like...
When you're walking around downtown doing your business or whatever, you don't really stop and look at the buildings, like the upper segments. You don't really see all the nice artistic details.
Syracuse is the center of the fugitive slave controversy.
Searing calls himself a nerd for history, but he says it's no overstatement to claim that his adopted hometown had its hand in nearly every aspect of America's climb to a global superpower in the 20th century.
It's 2025. Syracuse isn't one of the 30 largest cities like it used to be. We're on our way back, but the history of this community had such a profound impact on the nation. I think that's one of the things that always really resonates with folks.
Some nurses at Upstate wanted to make sure we didn't miss a corner of their world. It's a garden tucked alongside Adams Street as you approach the hospitals, and it's been nursed along for years with a great deal of tender, loving care.
Well, I come out early in the morning. Good morning. To do my gardening.
Beat the heat, huh?
Yes, beat the heat.
It's just after 6 in the morning when I catch up with Ernestine Davis. She lives near one of the busiest spots in all of Syracuse, just down the hill from the hospitals, with thousands of cars barreling past each day and rumbling over the highway above. Just about every morning, early, she's outside tending her garden.
The heat don't bother me. I'll be out here in the heat. Early in the morning, I do what I gotta do. And back in my apartment. Good morning. I'll do sit back and watch it, look at it grow. And look at the beauty. And talk to people coming by.
The garden is the envy of the neighborhood. Workers in the hospital complex across the street marvel at it, thankful for the little blast of beauty she has waiting for them on the way in and out of work each day. Ms. Davis has been living here for 23 years. She started the garden working with her mother.
I had 3 rose bushes right across here. All this was grass. A lot of hard work. But I did it. By the grace of God.
At first, there were some vegetables, but now it's all about flowers. Planting and weeding and rotating selections to keep the color going all summer long, catching the eye of folks as they pass by.
Well, it stops by, but they don't, you want to take pictures. You want to get ideas, how to do their gardens.
You share ideas with people a lot?
Oh, sure.
Questions about the I-81 project bring questions about the future of her neighborhood. But Ms. Davis says what will be will be. For now, she's up early every morning, tending to her garden. What do you want people to know about this garden?
It's a lot of hard work, but I love to see plants, flowers growing, to beautify the place.
Can't have enough beauty around the world, can we?
No, we can't.
Over the last 45 years here at News Channel 9, I've covered everything from natural disasters to national championships. But this year I had the opportunity to bring home a story that will probably stick with me longer than any other. In May, I had a seat aboard honor flight to Washington, D.C., 50 years after the end of the Vietnam War. It was a chance to say thank you to the men and women who'd served our country.
This is just, sad, to see how many people passed away in a war that we weren't allowed to win.
The scars of the Vietnam War linger 50 years after the fall of Saigon. The Vietnam Veterans Memorial, The Wall, pays tribute to more than 58,000 Americans who gave their lives in the war in Southeast Asia. Time at the Wall is the centerpiece of Honor Flight Syracuse, which brought 66 Vietnam-era veterans from central New York to the nation's capital May 3rd, all at no cost to the veterans. Bill Boyd grew up in Oswego and served during the Vietnam era, but a slot in the West Point band kept him stateside and, he believes, saved his life. He also believes, after many years, that the country has come to a realization.
We're not treating these guys very well. We really owe them a thank you. And this whole thing has been a huge thank you to the people, especially in Vietnam, who were not treated well when they came back home. So it's very much appreciated.
Great. In a city with so many light-colored monuments, this black granite design was a very controversial choice. But architect Maya Lin wanted to make sure that the veterans who visited here could see themselves in the reflection.
I did 22 years in the Coast Guard. I learned a lot. I went in as 22 and grew a lot.
Andre Carson watched as family literally emerged from the wall. He took home a rubbing of the name of PFC Freddie Lee Torrance, his mother's brother from Syracuse.
I never met him, so to be able to see him, I heard a lot about him. So to be able to see that up there, I thought that was awesome, great experience.
3 of my brothers lost their lives on November 11th, 1968, just off the Ho Chi Minh Trail.
Walter Gorecki Jr. served 2 years in Vietnam after he was drafted into the Army in 1967.
This trip is something I've been looking forward to 50 years, to get closure on going to the Vietnam Memorial. I'm just so thankful to be here, and I hope it never stops.
For years now, we've had the chance to chat with a bona fide music legend, the great Peter Noone. He stops by Bridge Street at the fair every year on his way to Chevy Court. But this year's trip brought a special surprise, a brand new recording. Peter Noone of Herman's Hermits has headlined Chevy Court for 15 years straight. But this year he leaves behind a gift. Vocals for a brand new recording due out within weeks.
The music I grew up on was the British invasion. That's what made me be a musician in the first place, was the British invasion. And Peter's one of the hugest stars ever, so love that.
Syracuse Music Hall of Famer Gary Frenet met a hero this summer, but it's not the first time they'd connected. Peter Noone laid down an audio track recently for I'll Be Taking Her Out Tonight. Reimagining a song that Noone first recorded back in 1980 with a little-remembered all-star group, the Tremblers.
We had a bit of Dave Clark vibe on it, and we had some of the Heartbreakers, and we just bashed around in the studio. And I had this song about I'll Be Taking Her Out Tonight, bow at the end, and everybody had fun.
When Frenet and his Flash Cubes partner Tommy Allen reached out to Noone, they were delighted that he agreed to play along. Their Half Cubes Pop Treasures collection has revived more than 40 of the songs they've always loved to share on mixtapes with their friends.
We try to find songs that we love that weren't hits, or songs that were sort of minor hits, but just shine a light on it and kind of do them in our own way.
Pop Treasures, that's a nice thing to call my song. They did a great job, these guys. They're really good. I'm impressed with it. Because I'd basically forgotten all about the Tremblers, and they just brought it back into my mind.
He has aged so well as a singer, and for all of us who still try to do this later in life, some have the gift and some don't, and he really has the gift.
Half Cubes Found Pearls, look. It's a smash.
We hope so.
You know, you can find great talent everywhere you look here in Central New York, even in places you might never notice.
Right now we're working out of a space in our home, working on putting together another studio setup.
In the past, the space produced boots for Union soldiers in the Civil War. But now it's shaping the future. In just 2 years, Dia Hafar and her mom Ellen have forged a new venture, producing high-quality pottery they sell in art marts and crafts festivals around the Northeast.
A lot of people call it like whimsical. So everything that we make, mugs, bowls, vases, they're all functional and they're dishwasher safe and are meant to be used every day.
It's evolved and grown faster than I anticipated. And so we're basically just keeping up with production. But that's a great thing.
Ellen retired after teaching art in high school for 30 years. Dia trained in public health and served in the Peace Corps. When she came home, she was ready for a reset.
That's what everyone wants, is to be able to enjoy whatever it is you're doing every day.
They spend many of their weekends camping with other crafters and peddling their pottery to the public.
And it's fun. We like camping.
We like camping. It's kind of like a working vacation.
We're able to bring joy to everyday moments for regular people, and that's very special.
A lot of their designs are shaped by the nature they found outside their home in Pompey, including Dia's latest design.
He's over there. It's a little praying mantis with a disco ball. He looks like he's dancing. So I think that's probably my current favorite.
And if you can make someone's day start off better, it feels really good.
This next story carries on that same theme, finding beauty in the most unexpected places. Dan Baker never knows where he'll find a treasure.
This was actually, I drove by a farmer's burn pile. He'd cleared some land, And I kind of knew the property, and what it was in fact walnut, but because it had stood there for so long, the darkness had bled out of it. But it's just beautiful stuff when you hit it with an oil.
Dan was a fourth-generation dairy farmer in Weedsport when he decided in his 50s to sell the family farm, shift gears, and work with wood. And not just any wood. He often works with discarded or reclaimed wood.
There's 100 guys that will build cabinets for you, but not everybody will maybe take an old piece of wood and make a nice piece of furniture out of it, and I thought that could be a nice niche for me.
It has proven to be a terrific niche. He gets logs from neighbors clearing lots, planks from old barns being torn down, even timbers salvaged during work on the Erie Canal. This conference table was crafted from trees used in the canal that were probably hundreds of years old.
You know, people might wonder, well, why isn't it rotted away? It was in the water for 175 years. As long as wood doesn't get oxygen to it, it will keep. If it was in the canal for 175 years, it could have been a tree that was 200 or 300 years old before that.
Some of the projects can get tremendously personal, like this crib that Dan built for his granddaughter. It's from wood from the home that his father was born in.
I've always loved building things. I just love building things. I love finding the beauty in wood. I mean, it's especially this old stuff. You know, barn wood, you see here, it's got nails in. You never know whether it's gonna have a nail or not. When you get done with it, you can't imitate it.
And that pretty much nails it. We've been talking about found treasures. Coming up, we'll tell you something good about a local treasure we almost lost, and how he and his son fought back against adversity. Lauren Berriger was playing guitar by the time he was 4. He played the Grand Ole Opry at 6. His immense talent has taken him around the world, but it all could have ended 6 years ago when a chainsaw jumped on him and tore into his hand.
I thought it was a career-ending injury for my music, you know. But I soon realized that my heart and my soul didn't want to stop it, you know.
And he couldn't stop. He picked up his guitar and has pushed himself to continue. Now he's taking his story to schools with a message about perseverance in the face of challenges. This week, he spoke to more than 300 students at Moravia Central School about staying positive.
If you go the other way, if you go negative or down on yourself, it doesn't work out. You have to stay positive.
Lauren's son LJ has seen his own challenges. He refocused on music after sports injuries sent him to the sidelines. He was there for his dad's comeback, working the frets with his left hand when his father could only strum with his right.
I just couldn't imagine, you know, something that you do your whole life and then to not have it, it's got to be tough. So I felt for him, you know.
He wanted to do this, you know, and it's been a blessing. It's been amazing, and certainly without him, who knows where I'd be.
The Sammy Hall of Famer is still among the region's most gifted musicians and best loved. And he and LJ are looking for more schools to share their message.
My abilities are different, but my heart and my soul and the way to express yourself on the guitar, you know, I don't have to be as fast as I used to be. There's other ways to communicate.
And he's got a great message. Those are just a few of the stories we've tracked down over the past year. You can find a lot more under the Community tab on localsyr.com. Just click on Tell Me Something Good. And thanks to you, we'll never run out of stories to tell. If you have one you think we should share, send us a note at somethinggood@localsyr.com or post to social media using the hashtag SomethingGoodCNY. I just want to say thanks to everyone who sent us story ideas this year and everyone who helped put those stories on the air. And thank you for spending a little time with us. For all of us here at News Channel 9, I'm Tim Fox. We hope you have a very happy and healthy new year. Now come on, tell me something good.
Download the WSYR Plus app on your TV to stream News Channel 9 for free. Just go to your smart TV, search WSYR Plus in the App Store, and download to start streaming today.